Thank you. Good morning. When I walk the streets of my hometown Jaffa, I'm often reminded of the year 1948. The alleys of the old city, the houses in the Ajami neighborhood, the fishing nets in the port, they all seem to tell different stories about what happened in that year that changed my city forever. And one of those stories is about one of the oldest families that live in this ancient city, the Deek family, my own. Before 1948, my grandfather George, after whom I'm named, worked as an electrician at the Rutenberg Electricity Company. He was not very interested in politics, and since Jaffa was a mixed city, he naturally had some Jewish friends. And in fact, some of his friends that used to work with him in the electricity company even taught him Yiddish, making him one of the first Arabs to speak the language. And in 1947, he got engaged to Vera, my grandmother. And together they had plans to build a family in the same city where the Deek family has lived for about 400 years, Jaffa. But a few months later, those plans changed, literally overnight. When the UN approved the establishment of Israel, and a few months later the State of Israel was established, the Arab leaders warned the Arabs that the Jews were planning to kill them if they stay home. And they used the Deir Yassin massacre as an example and told everyone, leave your houses and run away. They said they will need just a few days in which with 5 Arab armies they promised to destroy the newborn Israel. And my family, horrified by what might happen, decided to flee with most others. So a priest was rushed to the Deek family's house, and he wedded George and Vera, my grandparents, in the house in haste. My grandmother did not even have time to get a proper dress. And after their sudden wedding, the entire family started fleeing north towards Lebanon. But when the war was over, the Arabs failed to destroy Israel. And my family was on the other side of the border, and it seemed that the fate of the brothers and sisters of the Deek family was to be scattered around the globe. Today, I have relatives in Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Dubai, the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, and more. And the story of my family is just one, and probably not the worst, among the many tragic stories of the year 1948. And to be frank, you don't need to be an anti-Israeli to acknowledge the humanitarian disaster that the Palestinians experienced in 1948, namely the Nakba. The fact that I have to Skype with relatives in Canada who can't even speak Arabic, or with a cousin in an Arab country who still doesn't have citizenship there, in spite of the fact that he's a third generation, is a living testimony to the tragic consequences of the war. According to the UN, about 711,000 Palestinians were displaced, and we've heard that before. Some of them fled, and some of them were forcefully expelled. And at the same time, because of the establishment of the State of Israel, 800,000 Jews were intimidated into leaving the Arab world, leaving it mostly empty of Jews. And as we've heard before, atrocities from both sides were not uncommon. But it seems that this conflict was not the only one during the 19th and 20th century that led to expulsion and transfer. From 1821 to 1922, 5 million Muslims were expelled from Europe, mostly to Turkey. In the 1990s, Yugoslavia broke apart, leading to 100,000 people dead and about 3 million displaced. From 1919 to 1949, during the Wisla operation between Poland and Ukraine, 150,000 people died and 1.5 million were displaced. Following World War II and the Potsdam Convention, between 12 to 17 million Germans were displaced. And when India and Pakistan were established, about 15 million people were transferred. And this trend also exists in the Middle East. For example, the displacement of 1.1 million Kurds by the Ottomans, or 2.2 million Christians who were expelled from Iraq. And as we speak today, Yazidis, Baha'i, Kurds, Christians, and even Muslims are being killed and expelled in a rate of 1,000 people per month following the rise of radical Islam. The chances of any of those groups to return to their homes is almost non-existent. So why is it then? Why is it that the tragedies of the Serbs, the European Muslims, the Polish refugees, or the Iraqi Christians are not commemorated? How come the displacement of the Jews from the Arab world was completely forgotten, while the tragedy of the Palestinians, the Nakba, is still alive in today's politics? It seems to me to be so because the Nakba has been transformed from a humanitarian disaster to a political offensive. The commemoration of the Nakba is no longer about remembering what happened, but about resenting the mere existence of the State of Israel. It is demonstrated most clearly in the date chosen to commemorate it. The Nakba Day is not April 9th, the day of the Deir Yassin massacre, or July 13th, the day of the expulsion from Lod. The Nakba Day was set on May 15th, the day after Israel proclaimed its independence. By that, the Palestinian leadership declared that the disaster of the Nakba is not the expulsion, the abandoned villages, or the exile. The Nakba, in their eyes, is the creation of Israel. They are saddened less by the humanitarian catastrophe that befell on Palestinians and more by the revival of the Jewish state. In other words, they do not mourn the fact that my cousins are Jordanians. They mourn the fact that I am an Israeli. And by doing so, the Palestinians have become slaves to the past. They are held captives by chains of resentment, prisoners in the world of frustration and hate. But friends, the evident yet simple truth is that in order not to be reduced to sorrow and bitterness, we must look forward. And to put it more clearly, to mend the past, first you have to secure a future. And this is something I've learned from my music teacher, Avraham Nov. When I was 7 years old, I joined the marching band of the Arab Christian Community Center in Jaffa. And that's where I met Avraham, who was my music teacher. He first taught me to play the flute and later the clarinet. That was good. But Avraham is a Holocaust survivor. And his entire family was killed, murdered by the Nazis. He was the only one who managed to survive because some Nazi officer found him very gifted playing the harmonica, so he took him home during the war to entertain his guests. And when the war was over and he was left alone, he could have easily sat and wept and cried over the greatest crime of man against man in history and over the fact that he was left alone. But he didn't. He looked forward, not backwards. He chose life, not death, hope rather than despair. Avraham came to Israel. Avraham came to Israel. He got married. He built a family. And he started teaching the same thing that saved his life, music. He became the music teacher of hundreds and thousands of children all over the country. And when he saw the tension between Arabs and Jews in Israel, this Holocaust survivor decided to teach hope through music to hundreds of Arab children like me. Holocaust survivors like Avraham are among the most extraordinary people you can find. I was always curious to understand how they were able to survive, knowing what they knew, seeing what they saw. But throughout the 15 years I've known Avraham, and I was his student, he never spoke about his past, except once, when I demanded to know. And what I came to realize was that Avraham was not the only one, and that many Holocaust survivors did not speak about those years, about the Holocaust, even to their families, sometimes for decades or even a lifetime. Only when they had secured a future did they allow themselves to look back in the past. Only when they had built a time of hope, they permitted themselves to remember the days of despair. They built a future in their old new home, the State of Israel. And under the shadows of their greatest tragedy, Jews were able to lead a country that leads the world in medicine, agriculture, and technology. Why? Because they looked forward. Friends, this is a lesson to every nation that wishes to overcome a tragedy, including the Palestinians. If the Palestinians wish to redeem the past, they need to first focus on securing a future, on building a world as it should be, as our children deserve it to be. And the first step in that direction, without a doubt, is to end the shameful treatment of the Palestinian refugees. In the Arab world, the Palestinian refugees, including their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, are still not settled, aggressively discriminated against, and in most cases denied citizenship and basic human rights. Why is it that my relatives in Canada are Canadian citizens, while my relatives in Syria, Lebanon, or the Gulf countries, who've been born there and know no other home, are still considered refugees? Clearly, the treatment of the Palestinians in the Arab countries is the greatest oppression they experience anywhere. And the collaborators in this crime are no other than the international community and the United Nations. Rather than doing its job and help the refugees build a life, the international community is feeding the narrative of victimhood. While there is one UN agency in charge of all the refugees in the world, the UNHCR, another agency was established to deal only with the Palestinian ones, UNRWA, UNRWA. This is no coincidence. While the goal of the UNHCR is to help refugees establish a new home, establish a future, and end their status as refugees, the goal of UNRWA is exactly opposite: to preserve their status as refugees and prevent them from being able to start new lives. The international community cannot seriously expect the refugee problem to be solved when it is collaborating with the Arab world in treating the refugees as political pawns, denying them the basic rights they deserve. Wherever the Palestinian refugees were granted equal rights, they prospered and contributed to their society. In South America, in the US, and even in Israel. In fact, Israel was one of the few countries that automatically gave full citizenship and equality for all the Palestinians in it after 1948. And we see the results. Despite all the challenges, the Arab citizens of Israel built a future. Israeli Arabs are the most educated Arabs in the world, with the best living standards and opportunities in the region. Arabs serve as judges in the Supreme Court. Some of the best doctors in Israel are Arabs working in almost every hospital in the country. There are 13 members of parliament, Arab members of parliament, who enjoy the right to criticize the government, a right that they exhaust to the fullest, protected by the freedom of speech. Arabs win popular reality shows, and you can even find Arab diplomats, and one of them is standing in front of you. Today, when I walk in the streets of Jaffa, I see the old buildings and the old port, but I also see children going to school and university. I see flourishing businesses, and I see a vibrant culture. In short, despite the fact that we still have a long road ahead of us as a minority, we have a future in Israel. And this brings me to my next point. Time has come to put an end to the culture of hatred and incitement, because anti-Semitism, I believe, is a threat to Muslims and Christians as much as for Jews. I arrived to Norway, as you were told, about 2 years ago. And here was the first time ever that I interacted with Jews as a minority. I'm usually used to seeing them as a majority. And I have to say, it looked very familiar. I grew up in a similar environment in the Arab Christian community in Jaffa. I was part of the Orthodox Christians who are part of the Christian community, who are part of the Arab minority in the Jewish state of Israel and the Muslim Middle East. So it's like those Russian dolls, you open the big one, there's a smaller one inside. I'm the smallest piece. And a Jew in Norway or an Arab in Israel, being a minority means that you are always a part of a small community where everyone cares for each other and supports each other. And it's a beautiful thing to know that no matter what, you always have a community that will care about you. And being a part of a minority has been a blessing throughout my life. But friends, the life of a minority is also a life of constant struggle for fair treatment. Sometimes you're discriminated against and might even be a victim of war crimes. Even in a democracy like Israel, being an Arab minority is not always easy. Just over a year ago, a bunch of price tag bullies walked into the Arab Christian cemetery in Jaffa, and they desecrated the graves with writings, "Death to the Arabs." And one of the graves in that cemetery was my father's. So being a minority, my friends, is a challenge everywhere, because being a minority means being different. And no nation has ever paid a heavier price for being a minority, being different, than the Jewish people. The history of the Jewish people added many words to the human vocabulary. Words like expulsion, first conversion, inquisition, ghetto, pogroms, not to mention the word Holocaust. And Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs explains in an article accurately that the Jews suffered throughout the ages because they were different, because they were the most significant non-Christian minority in Europe, and today the most significant non-Muslim minority in the Middle East. But friends, in fact, aren't we all different? The truth is, being different is what makes us human. Every person, every culture, every religion is unique and therefore irreplaceable. And a Europe or a Middle East that has no room for Jews has no room for humanity. Because friends, let's not forget, anti-Semitism may begin with Jews, but it never ends with Jews. Jews were not the only ones to be forcefully converted during the Inquisition. Hitler made sure that gypsies and homosexuals, among others, suffered alongside the Jews. And it is happening now, again, this time in the Middle East. The Arab world seems to have forgotten that its greatest days in the last 1,400 years were when it showed tolerance and openness towards those who are different. The genius mathematician Ibn Musa al-Khawazmi was Uzbeki. The great philosopher Rumi was Persian. The glorious leader Salah ad-Din was Kurdish. The founder of Arab nationalism was Michel Aflaq, a Christian. And the one who brought the Islamic rediscoveries of Plato and Aristotle to the rest of the world was Maimonides, a Jew. But rather than reviving the successful approach of tolerance, Arab youth are still being taught to hate Jews using anti-Semitic rhetoric from medieval Europe mixed with Islamic radicalism. And once again, what started as hostility towards Jews has become hostility towards anyone who is different. Just last week, more than 60,000 Kurds fled from Syria towards Turkey, afraid of being slaughtered. On the same day, 15 Palestinians from Gaza drowned in the sea trying to escape the claws of Hamas. Baha'i and Yazidis are at risk. And on top of it all, the ethnic cleansing of Christians in the Middle East is the greatest crime against humanity in the 21st century. In just 2 decades, Christians like me have been reduced from 20% of the population of the Middle East to a mere 4% today. And when we see that the main victims of Islamic violence are Muslims, it is getting clear to everyone that at the end of the day, hate destroys the hater. So friends, if we wish to succeed in protecting our right to be different, if we want to have a future in that region, I believe we should stand together, Jews, Muslims, and Christians. We will fight for the right of Christians everywhere to live their faith without fear, with the same passion with which we will fight for the right of Jews to live without fear. We will fight against Islamophobia, but we need our Muslim partners to join the fight against Christianophobia and Judeophobia, because the thing at stake is our shared humanity. Now, I know that this might sound naive, but I believe it's possible, and that the only thing that is standing between us and a more tolerant world is fear. When the world changes, people start worrying about what the future holds. And this fear makes people shrink themselves into the passive position of victims, rejecting reality and looking for someone to blame for being behind all this. It is true today as much as it was true in 1948. The Arab world can overcome this mindset, but it requires the courage to think and act differently. This change demands that the Arabs realize that they are not helpless victims, and it demands that they open up to self-criticism and to holding themselves accountable. Up to this day, not a single history book in the Arab world questions the historic mistake of rejecting the establishment of the Jewish state. No prominent academic in the Arab world has come out saying that if the Arabs would have accepted the idea of a Jewish state, there would have been two states, there would have been no war, and there would have been no refugees problem. I see Israelis, like Benny Morris, who's with us today, who dare to challenge the narratives of their leadership in Israel, taking personal risks in the quest of a truth that is not always comfortable for their people. But I fail to see their Arab equivalents. I fail to see a debate questioning the wisdom of the destructive leadership of the Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, or the unnecessary war launched by the Arab League in 1948, or any of the wars against Israel in the years that followed until today. And I fail to see self-criticism in the Palestinian mainstream today about the use of terrorism, the launching of the Second Intifada, or the rejection of at least 2 Israeli offers in the last 15 years to end the conflict. Self-reflection is not a weakness. It's a sign of strength. It brings forth our ability to overcome fear and face reality. It demands us to look sincerely into our decisions and take responsibility for it. Only the Arabs themselves can change their reality by stopping the leaning on conspiracy theories and the blaming of outside powers, America, the Jews, the West, or whoever, for all their problems, by learning from past mistakes, and by making wiser decisions in the futures. Just 2 days ago, the United States President Barack Obama, he stood at the UN podium in front of the General Assembly, and he said, and I quote, "The task of rejecting sectarianism and extremism is a generational task, a task for the people of the Middle East themselves. No external power can bring about a transformation of hearts and minds." Lately, I've read a very interesting article by Lord Sachs about rivalry among brothers in the Bible. And there are 4 stories about rival brothers in the book of Genesis. There is, and each case, by the way, ends differently. There is the stories of Cain and Abel, Isaac and Ishmael, Yaakov and Esav, and Joseph with his brothers. In the case of Cain and Abel, at the end of it, Abel lies dead. In the case of Isaac and Ishmael, they are standing together at their father's grave. In the case of Jacob and Esav, they meet, embrace, and go their separate ways. But the case of Joseph ends differently. For those of you who are not familiar with the story, Joseph was one of Jacob's 12 sons, and they lived in the land of Canaan. At some stage, because of their jealousy of him, his brothers decide to sell him to slavery. But after a while, Joseph rises up to become one of the 2 most powerful people in Egypt, alongside Pharaoh. And when famine struck Canaan, his family comes down to Egypt, and there he meets them. And rather than punishing his brothers for what they have done to him, Joseph decides to forgive them. And this was the first recorded event of forgiveness and reconciliation in literature or anywhere. And Joseph not only forgives his brothers, but he also provides them with all their needs. And they prosper, they grow in numbers, and they become a great nation. And at the end of the story, Joseph says to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." And by that, he meant that our acts in the present can shape the future, and by that, redeem the past. Now, Jews and Palestinians, we might not be brothers in faith, but we are certainly brothers in faith. And I believe that just like in the story of Joseph, through making the right choices, by choosing to focus on the future, we can redeem our past. Yesterday's enemies can become tomorrow's friends. It happened between Israel and Germany, Israel and Egypt, Israel and Jordan, and it is time to start and making a ray of hope in the relations between Israelis and Palestinians, so that we can put an end to replaying of all grievances and focus on our future and the exciting possibilities it holds for us if we'd only dare. Now, I still didn't tell you the rest of my family story in 1948. So after a long journey towards Lebanon, most of it by foot, my grandparents, George and Vera, reached Lebanon. So they stayed there for many months. And while there, my grandmother gave birth to her first son, my uncle Sammy. And when the war was over, they realized that they have been lied to. One, the Arabs did not win the war as promised, but also at the same time, the Jews did not kill all the Arabs as they were told that would happen. And my grandfather looked around him and saw nothing but a dead-end life as a refugee. He looked at his young wife Vera, not even 18 yet, and his newborn son, and knew that in a place stuck in the past, with no ability to look forward, there is no future for his family. While his brothers and sisters saw their future in Lebanon or other Arab countries or in the Western world, he thought otherwise. He wanted to go back to Jaffa, his hometown. Because he worked with Jews in the past and was a friend to some of them, he was not brainwashed with hate. My grandfather George did what very few others would have dared. He reached out to those that his community saw as their enemies. And he got hold of one of his friends from the electricity company and asked him for his help to get back. And that friend, of whom I've only heard through my father's story and never really knew his name, was not only able and willing to help my grandfather get back, but in an extraordinary act of grace, he even helped him get his old job back at what has become the Israeli electricity company, making him one of the very few Arabs who work there. And today, among my siblings and cousins, we have accountants, teachers, insurance agents, high-tech engineers, diplomats, factory managers, university professors, doctors, lawyers, investment consultants, managers of companies, architects, and even electricians. And the reason that my family have succeeded in life, and the reason that I'm standing in front of you today as an Israeli diplomat and not as a Palestinian refugee from Lebanon, is because my grandfather had the courage to take a decision that was unthinkable to others. Rather than falling into despair, he found hope where no one else dared looking for it. He chose to live among those who were considered his enemies and to make them his friends. And for that, I and my family owe him and my grandmother eternal gratitude. The story of the Deek family should serve as a source of inspiration to the Palestinian people. We cannot change the past, but we can secure a future for our next generations, and if we want to mend the past someday. We can help Palestinian refugees have a normal life. We can be sincere about our past and learn from our mistakes. And we can unite Muslims, Jews, and Christians to protect our right to be different, and by that, preserve our humanity. Indeed, we can't change the past. But if we do all that, we will change the future. Thank you.